The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the markets, but the markets not going on much themselves. We are up 2 points on the S&P cash at 1.65 billion shares, so extremely light volume starting today out. We are in the depths of the summer doldrums, but at the same time, I suspect that for a great deal of people on Wall Street, they are hoping that they can just get this to go sideways into Friday's expiration and hold this market up. Now, what else can we do between now and then? I guess we can, we can do a hand puppet. We can make shadows on the wall, but for the most part, a lot of the losses are in Wall Street come from putting on trades when there is no action. Kind of like going out and going fishing. You just have to know that if fish aren't biting, it takes patience, and if you just don't come back forever, of course, you're not going to catch any fish. So we have to be active in the market, but at the same time know that maybe what we're really doing is waiting and biding our time for a decent signal out here. Everything that I look at says that they want to try to get this thing as a flat into expiration around 1675 for this Friday. My guess is there's too many companies coming out for earnings, but at the same time, the volatility is probably going to be extremely light over the next at least a couple of days. I think we're probably going to see a lot more action late Wednesday after the bell and Thursday. So we probably have a light day today and tomorrow. So what do we have? TW gone. Okay. Just looking at other things in the marketplace here. Wanted to get into what was going on. NASDAQ's up 7. West Texas is up like 19 at 106.15, and gold's up $4 at 12.81. Dow's up like 20. So we've got a fairly light day out here. There's a few stocks moving. There was a buyout for a couple, but other than that, going to be a fairly quiet day. We're going to look at some stocks that have hit these highs and are now more than anything going sideways. But take a look. I think that this is a good time to be looking at charts and a little less crowded. But I think we're going to be seeing this market move by those earnings probably after the bell on Wednesday and after the bell on Thursday into Friday. So this is probably a good month to also think back about Tom O'Brien's seminar on trading in options weeks. And hopefully everybody last month got to look at it. It was a great time to actually be trading. I think we've got that same kind of quick trade setup coming for Thursday, Friday this week for white lightning options. So we'll take a look at some of the other stuff out here. Of course, the market that I've been waiting for a decent move out here has been this copper market. And when we look at it, it's down again today, and it just doesn't seem to get out of its way, which makes me think that what we have here is probably a market that's headed up in the United States, but may not see the rest of the world come along as much as the United States, with Bernanke continuing to pump the gold. Anyway, we're going to look at some other stocks fairly quickly or early today, since there's probably not a great deal of news. Let's go out here and look at some of these later in the show. First one I wanted to look at was Apple. This thing's kind of slowly moving up. Is it great, or is there any energy in it? No. But probably the interesting thing would be what do we got going on here? And could you call this last leg out here a little ABC? And I think the answer is yes, but let's take a quick look. I mean, we're into a broader confluence zone, and that confluence zone pretty much $11 wide, so probably a little bit more wide than you would like. It's going to be mushy in here. You'd probably think that somewhere over this 435, 437, this thing really could get going, but without any volume like we've seen the last 3 days on this, pretty much up at probably what we're looking for in the highs of the week during expiration. Going to look and see. You know, you've got a decent retrace back here. You've got basically a 55% retrace from the high of today. That would set up a one-to-one back to 354 if things really got ugly out here. But at the moment, we're probably, or at least I'm looking at least one more retest of this low at 358. It had 21 million shares, got tested by 20 million shares, which is probably telling us there's at least one more test of that low coming. Wanted to look at a few others moving. IBM, I think, out this week with earnings, and again, fairly weak. We talked about this a little bit in the Tech Insider Hour of Tom O'Brien, and of course, they were firing a lot of people just before the end of the quarter. And probably an effort to get in under the get the numbers in. So I'm expecting probably flat earnings. They did bring their forecast down a bit, but again, you just don't see this thing moving again. Look very much like Apple in that it could not test the low, got very close. This case, the volume was just a skosh higher. But it still wants to go down and test a 187.68 low, and that low came in on April 22nd. Basically got into it fairly decently, but volume did not shrink. We had 10 million shares on the June 28th, and that suggests we still have that option to go. If they do not make the revenue numbers and make their EPS, I suspect that we could see this thing setting up for the low 170s. And I think earnings Wednesday or Thursday this week. I'm going to have to go back and check. Other things that we have out here, platinum's up $15. We've got, like we said, crude contracts up 17 cents, but just not a lot else shaking out here. Very quiet market, and as they say, don't be short a quiet market. I wanted to see what else we had here. Boeing's up again this morning. Of course, everybody heard that there was a fire on a plane sitting on the tarmac. It got down under $100. I took a couple of bucks out of it on Friday, but it is a nice little pop out of here today when we found out. Of course, probably had a little to do, if anything, with the airplane and something with the cargo on board, but not a lot of volume. Just they certainly did run all the shorts on Friday. Coors was downgraded. This thing has been the darling of Wall Street since its IPO. Oop, gotta give one more S. KORS is the symbol on this one. But when we look at this, I've been watching this one for a while, and this thing really dies anywhere around this $65 high. It actually had 20 million shares on the 12th of February. Tried to go over it a little bit higher on 7 million shares, and did get a little higher at 65.10 on that February 19th high. But I'm using $20 million as the, or 20 million shares as the number. Tried to get through it on May 30th with 6.6 million shares, and it tried to get back up here. Yeah, it could got 1 penny over that February 19th high with 2.6 million shares last week on the 9th, and it's been rolling over since then. Of course, a downgrade today. Don't know how much there's any in that, but just not a lot of energy back up here to break what is a fairly high volume high. But we'll take a look at it. Mid caps out here. Since AT&T's been buying stuff, people are now looking for other companies that have the possibility of being bought out. So we have a huge move in telephone and data systems. Symbol is a TDS. This thing is catching some volume. Next high out here is the February 25th high at $26.16. But nice gap, decent volume out here today. Everything would say this thing's probably going to go up to that 26.17 at least. I don't have a lot of faith in the rumors, but this thing is going to pop when the rest of the market is moving like that. When we had Europe close today, the FTSE's up 0.6%. Germany's DAX was up 0.3%. France was up 0.6%. Spain was up 0.1%. Portugal was up 0.8. Italy up 1.1%. I think Ireland was closed today, and Greece was off 0.5% as they slowly fade into the sea. And see if there was anything else out here. I'm just going to go back here and look. Unipixel, blah, blah, blah. I'm just seeing if there was anything else moving out here before we get into charts, because it's going to be probably a quiet week, but at least probably the next couple of days quiet out here. Okay, we'll start looking at stocks, and again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, 877-927-6648, and we'll be looking to hear from you. Probably one of the most interesting stocks out here has been Zillow, another one of these that's been the belle of the ball. It is breaking out with a very light volume today. Last major high and a gap down happened on May 7th. The next day it gapped down on 2.5 million shares, but it made a high on May 7th out here at $63.76, 1.3 million shares. So what do we have on Friday? 526,000 shares. We got 400,000 shares today. So it wouldn't be the first or last of the stocks that are slowly getting pushed on incredibly light volume in this marketplace. But Zillow is one of these, and of course everybody's wanting to get back on that home builder bandwagon. Zillow seems to be the one that hasn't quite pulled back yet on that, but again, I think there's still a lot of pushing of paper out on that one, and they're doing a fairly decent job on it. The XLF, well, we're going to have to take that when we come back. It's another one out here that we're going to have to look at the volume at it, but it's getting up there fairly quickly. Of course, we had earnings out this morning on a couple of them, and we'll talk about that when we get back. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648.
With over 3 decades of commodity trading experience, Andy Hecht has developed a system that combines both technicals and fundamentals. He calls this approach Technomental, and now you can put it to work for yourself with his brand new service, the Technomental Commodity Report. In this weekly newsletter, which comes out each Thursday morning, Andy gives you his analysis of the market price direction bias using fundamentals, and then specific trade recommendations including entry and exit points using technicals. The recommendations in the newsletter are always based on stocks and ETFs, so a futures account is not required, and Andy will often use options in the recommendations as well. Andy will tell you where to get in, where to get out, and he'll outline the risk-reward profile for all recommendations. To get your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report by Andy Hecht while locking in the low introductory rate, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we come back, we're going to look at a few stocks. The first one was the Financial Select Spiders, and that is the XLF. And, we had a nice high out here with high volume. It 95 million shares on May 22nd, $20.35. And, of course, we've gone above that today, but 60 million shares. We probably want to be looking, let me do this real quick. Let me check just to make sure that my numbers are correct. There we go. Yeah. Is that right? 16? Okay. I don't know if that is correct. Let me check. I'm showing two different volume numbers out here, and it is interesting. Yeah, I guess I tried two different sources. It has 16.8 million shares, which is, this is bizarre. I got three different numbers now for the volume on the XLF, so we'll have to figure out what it is maybe during the break. But I'm showing 16 million shares, so it's at least two sources. So let's take a look and see what we can get here. Do this real quick here. Edit the bar. Let's put in 16 million. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's. Now I'm a little nervous here, but certainly want to check this before the end of the day. We did go. The price numbers are correct. Maybe someone in the den has numbers on the XLF, if that is correct. But 60 million versus, I guess that 60 million would have been. I guess it's still within 0.5% of the high on the XLF. Would have been 60 million shares on the 11th of this month. But 43 million on Friday, and 16 million correct today. Okay, well, we'll look at some other stocks here that may be a little clearer during the break. Wabco Holdings, WBC, another one of these things that's trying to break out on light volume today, $78.62. That was on May 17th. Came up with some decent volume, came back down, tested its previous low, or at least got back into the candles of the May 2nd and May 1st lows back here. May 2nd low. Got it back into those candles. Volume did shrink a little bit, 640,000 shares to 530,000 shares, and it started moving up. What has not really happened is didn't really get a big increase in volume from the first move to the second move. Basically, looking like this thing is range bound somewhere between $78 and probably back down to that $70 range. So, going to be watching that, but very light volume with 196,000 shares today. And like I said, a lot of these things look like they're going to try to hold them up through expiration, and if not, at least probably through Wednesday. Vertex Pharmaceuticals. I'm seeing a lot of pharmaceutical biotechs testing their highs on extremely light volume over the last couple of days. Vertex is a VRTX for the symbol, and this one's challenging its April 22nd high at $78.47. 8.9 million shares. And what do we have on Friday? Basically 2 million shares. And if any of this is right, or maybe everything is okay, XLF's 18.5, so it is low. So if we have 18 point, we've got a very light volume in this one, 8.9 million, and 646,000 shares so far today. So very quiet day so far in Vertex, but this thing, it did do a pretty good job. Broke out with volume. It came back to the first time on May 3rd with 3.7 million shares at 74.61. It did go below it, closed back above it on June 24th, which gave you a nice little buy signal. Did it on half the volume, so I can't complain about that. Just the volumes up here at the highs, very weak. And ProShares Ultra QQQ, which is the TQQQ, and that is, we're watching these start to climb above its previous high. That previous high came on May 22nd at 77.42, 3.3 million shares. So over the last 3 days, we've had 1.6 million shares. Friday, 780,000 shares, and 670,000 shares today. So certainly breaking a lot of these highs on lighter volume in expiration week, which is setting up, I think, some fairly decent trades Thursday and Friday. So hang on. We'll be back in a minute.
With the stock market flirting with all-time highs and volatility back, now is the perfect time for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights. On Monday, June 24th, Tom O'Brien closed out all 5 open positions in his daily newsletter, Market Insights, with all trades being profitable and ranging from a 2.23% gain all the way to more than an 11% gain in just one position for an incredible 32.7% profit combined between the 5 trades. Let Tom O'Brien's years of market experience work for you. If you'd like to see for yourself what kind of trading newsletter Tom O'Brien delivers to his clients each morning, then now is a perfect time to sign up for a 2-week free trial to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. In a volatile market like we currently have, the potential for fast market moves like we've seen recently is a trader's dream. So don't wait any longer. Sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today at the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, we're going to continue looking at a lot of these stocks making light volume highs. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. We are in a very light volume day out here and probably getting into the meat of the summer out here, and that is light volume Fridays and Mondays. And, of course, a lot of people waiting to see what we have for earnings starting tonight after the bell, really getting in gear late Wednesday and Thursday. But just 1.8 billion shares so far, so an extremely light volume move up here. We've got S&P that's up about 3 points. Not a lot to actually scream about other than that. And, a few stocks moving, but most of those are on deals, so not really going to be able to make any money on them. We wanted to bring up Google since this thing is making highs on and going above its highs and on much lighter volume. Of course, we had 3.9 million shares on the May 20th high, and that's 3.9 million shares on 515. I'm using the high, the conservative method, which is the highest volume within 0.5% of the high. But even then, 920 on that May 20th high, we've seen it go through it on the close of Friday, where it closed at 923. Going a little higher today, making a little doji out of here. But again, just 1.4 million shares. So very, very light volume out here. Everybody's waiting for the next shoe to drop, and we'll continue looking at them. We were talking about how some of these biotechs and pharmaceutical stocks all seem to be making some very light volume highs out here after taking off and having big signs of strength. Theravance, it's THRX. This thing took off on the 13th of May and made a high on the 14th. Of 3.2 million shares. Actually, the day that it took off came up with 8.2 million shares. But at the highest volume, with 0.5%, 3.2 million shares at 42.41. We got up to 42.96. Did go above it. We've closed below it, and a fairly decent sell signal out here. A lot of these stocks are setting up for what looks to be trading ranges that are much higher than they had just maybe 30, 60 days ago. The SMHs was what I was also looking at today. I was hoping to get a little better, maybe even pop out of the SMHs and then get an idea, but we've got pretty much a nothing of volume on those today. We've got the big high out here, which was June 4th. $39.28, 5.1 million shares. And we did go over it on Friday, went over it by 8 cents on 1.5 million shares. So basically, what, a third? And just not a whole lot of follow-through yet today. So we are looking at a lot of these that came up on very, very light energy. Of course, a lot of these things did take off mid-April, and well, what can you say? They are now up here and starting to wheeze a bit. Another one out here is Click Technologies, and it is a one that has popped above its previous high. Yes, this. Kind of an interesting company out here, engages in development, commercialization, and implementation of software products and related services for user-driven business intelligence that enables customers to make business decisions primarily in the Americas. So, boy, isn't that clear as mud. Last high, $31.33 to a million shares. Popped over it on Thursday of last week. On just a hair under 1.7 million shares, and then the last 2 days under 700,000 on Friday and under 400,000 so far today. So we continue to see a lot of these stocks just whiffing for any kind of volume. We did talk earlier about the WLF, and we can also look at the IYF to see if there's a different story out here. And so far, not really. A little better volume comparatively, but of course, this isn't the volume that the XLF has. But the May 22nd high on, or 22nd, high on the IYF, 74.96, 400,000 shares, and of course. On Friday, 249,000 shares. We are above it again today. The question is, does it close back below the $74.96 low and the volume keep low into the close? And the answer is watch this closely, but I think we could be getting sell signals on the IYF today and maybe in the next day or so in the XLF. On the theme of stocks in biotech and pharmaceuticals, Illumina, big in the sequencing of DNA, has been up here pounding away at its highs. It tried on Friday to get through on much lighter volume. The May 10th high on this was $77.11, 7.1 million shares. Got into it on Friday with 2.2 million shares. Just kind of going sideways today, but most of these things are now looking as the previous highs as a fairly decent resistance levels. Let's see what else we had. We looked at Google. Yeah, just very light volume. CVS, which is kind of interesting. You don't see a lot of stocks out here in this sector that have that come up with a lot of different highs on different volume. But certainly CBS is one of those. The last major high out here was May 22nd, 52.46, 7.6 million shares. So we got 4.8 million shares yesterday approaching that high. And, of course, we've gone higher than that to 53.18. So good 60, 70 cents higher than that. And, of course, just no volume, 2.8 million shares today. So just a lot of these. In fact, we've got more stocks out here testing previous highs on lighter volume than over in the last year. So a pretty light volume market out here. CA, and that is another one of these companies in enterprise and information technology. 29.83 was the last high. That happened on June 7th. So a little over a month ago out here. 9.3 million shares. On Friday, 2.5 million shares. And today, 1.6 million shares. This thing is giving us a sell signal. If you were long, it would be prudent to take your money. But a lot of these hitting these high volume highs and just gasping for breath. In the market out here. ASCA, I don't know what that is. AIG, of course, this one's been banging away at its highs, kind of interestingly enough. But in light volume day to day, as it is going higher, we saw $46.46 on May 30th, 19 million shares. Tried it again on 13 million shares and turned right around on June 14th. Of course, the last couple of days, 13 million shares, so 6 million off the previous high, and, of course, 7 million shares today on AIG. So a lot of these things are setting up for light volume. And Gerian Pharmaceuticals, another one of these that looks like it's just whiffing for a breath of fresh air up here and not getting any. June 6 high, 1.6 million shares at 75 at 69. As we went through that on Friday, 627,000 shares, and we've got about 400,000 shares so far. So unless something drastically changes beyond the scope of the end of the day, I could probably be going through 100 stocks that look like this, and the volume isn't just light, it is pathetic. So we'll be looking at the rest of these, and let's check back in on the market out here and see if we've got any action whatsoever that makes any sense out here. Up 3.5 on the S&P cash, so well within the realm of noise, but the volume is still not moving much. 1.85 billion shares on the day so far. We've seen some of these stocks that have been parabolic come off with a great deal of noise. X1 is one of these. This thing had gone parabolic. And it'll be very interesting to watch. If this thing can, once again, it has, in fact, today is its first day below its 9-day moving average out here. And if this thing could come back up, get back up, maybe into the 70s, this may be a very sweet setup as options lockup, I think, happens the first week of September. So we'll be watching this one very closely. Other stocks in the news, let me take a quick look. Wanted to look at something else really quick. Maybe we can do so before the end of the day. Do I have enough time? Yes, I do. Okay. What do we have? Change. Okay. X1, of course, off 5% today. What else do we have? Tesla's off 1%. Not a big deal on that so far. ISRG off fairly decently. Amazon getting fairly flat. Again, this is really tough to actually find any of these stocks moving. Of course, the strongest stock out here is Boeing. And it's up 3.5% right now at 105.49. Bouncing back from that news on Friday that there was a fire in the belly, but pretty much finding out it had very little to do with their previous problems out here. Microsoft up a little today. Kind of interesting story on Microsoft over the weekend. They took those Surface tablets, the Surface RTs that had been selling for about $500 and dropped them down to about $350, $356 or something like that. And of course, they haven't been selling, and I think they're trying to get as many of those out the door as they can before the earnings date comes up, but continuing to have problems getting into at least the low-end tablet business. I like their high-end tablet, and I might buy one, but I'm waiting for the second rev of them to get a little bit more disk space in it. But it would be very nice to have a full-blown PC that can run all Windows software and still run tablet software to boot. Hang on just a second. I'm going to do a little house cleaning on one of these lists to see if anything else. If it's not moving 1%, probably not going to be too busy looking at it. Let's take a quick look at home builders before the break here and see if we get any more movement that we get in that. We've got a little bit of stuff. Of course, Fannie Mae. Now relegated to a penny stocks up 4%, but that's no big deal. Probably the biggest one is D.H. Horton, which is off 4%, which makes Zillow very interesting out here that it's still pushing. This thing looked like it had wanted to be making some ABC downs and at least come back and test this $19.69 low. That's on D.H. Horton. DHI is the symbol on this thing. When we look at this thing, it's been making the stair step back down fairly quickly. Let's see, what do we have, 24? Let's take a look at this a little bit more. A, B, and C. So what do we? B and C. There we go. It retraced 70% before it rolled over. And energy, it had one nice pop out of here. It's pretty much negated that pop, and it's back into the gap. The volume is much lighter. If this is an ABC down, it would take you to that $18.24 level with a 1-to-1. And, of course, just underneath that, probably not a bad time frame to be looking at. You've got some fairly good level of consolidation and support probably at that $18 level, but I suspect that's exactly what we're doing is setting up a nice little ABC down. If we go to the bigger ABC down here, it takes you to 15.14, but that's probably a little optimistic in this one. Rylands Homes off 2.8%, RYL. Take a quick look at this guy. Another one that's pretty much the same pattern as D.H. Horton. Not as much pin action, but it certainly looks like a lot of these stocks are coming back down to these November 15th and December lows back here from last year. On RHI, it's the November 15th low. We'll be back in just a minute. Still have plenty of time to give me a call at 877-927-6648.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Nowhere, spelled N-O-W-H-E-R-E. At one point, we've all been there, whether it be our health, career, or our finances. Some might be there right now. So where are you when it comes to your trading and investing? Better yet, where would you like to be? The good news, I can take you from nowhere to now here right now. Same letters, N-O-W-H-E-R-E, just a totally different emphasis and focus. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN, and on July 25th at 6:30 p.m., I'm going to share with you a trading strategy that I began on May 10th when the S&P was at 1627 and closed at the same price 8 weeks later. That's right, the S&P went nowhere versus a trading strategy that produced a 100% hypothetical return in that same period of time, and it's now here for you. Subscribers to my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability, have free access to this exciting live workshop. The trend is your friend. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com. Decisions shape your destiny, and your trading destiny is now here for you.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
I had a question in the den about Amazon, and to tell you the truth, not exactly sure why this thing is rolling. Everything is going against them, but of course, no one cares if they make any money, and that's really hurting IBM, Rackspace, CRM, some of these other companies. But maybe that's it. Maybe everybody thinks that Amazon's going to one day be able to turn the corner and by destroying their enemies today be a stronger company down the road. The Oracle founder always said, it's not important that we win as much as others lose. And sometimes that's exactly what happens in technology. Let's see, was it Rax? Is it Rax? RAX? Is it just RAX? Rackspace Holdings. This has been one decimated by Amazon dropping their prices on cloud computing, and doesn't look like it's done going down yet. This thing looks like it could have one more leg down. Of course, I'm not going to be shorting it down here. The time to have been shorting it was probably well, I don't know if you would have gotten a good time to come back in. Basically blew apart on earnings twice and forecasts. But you have some monstrous volume down here at 38.30, and probably going to find that back on Amazon. Probably looking at this thing coming back to that $300 level for options expiration. At least that's what options are showing for it right now. As we close the end of the day out, I kind of, with all the news about the court case down here in Florida, I wanted to probably just talk a little bit about my experience. I was put in for a grand jury, and it's kind of interesting on the backhand side when a lot of these things become political instead of legal. I got dragged through a bunch of this because I was on a grand jury for 2 years. Every other Friday, I had to drive on downtown. Basically in the same kind of point where the politicians didn't really care what the evidence was, and they wanted to barbecue some police officers to throw on the altar of some people that were threatening to burn the city down if they didn't get quite what they wanted. And I kind of always wondered, just the philosophy of doing something like that, but I wouldn't do it. And so they threw me off the grand jury to find somebody else that would. I wrote a letter to the judge that oversaw the grand jury there, and they actually went and investigated the prosecutor over that. But it's not uncommon to find a prosecutor who sometimes, especially politically, will do anything out there. Later, in fact, just the last couple of years, I've seen the same guy that threatened to burn the city down become a congressman. And this is the same gentleman that said he was spit on by all manner of people leaving. And, of course, videotape later showed that no one even came close to him. He had, again, lied. Probably the worst part is that this whole thing makes me think of the movie The Unforgiven. When he was talking about making the movie, he said, really, in these Westerns, everybody comes off as a hero. If you remember The Unforgiven, the movie, everybody is just horrible. I think my kind of opinion is that it's just that. Everybody that's been touched by this has left a horrible stain. Anyway, I hope everybody is safe and peaceful out there, and love your kids. Try not to burn the city down. We'll be back, same bat channel, same bat time tomorrow.